Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday night. We're doing things a little different tonight. The John, Brian, and Jay show has been taken over by me. It's now the Jay, Brian, and John MIA show. John's not going to be joining us tonight. He's out in the woods doing something with a tree, trying to get firewood, or it's freezing where he is. And, he's busy. So we're giving him the night off. But I do have Brian here, and I've got Joel, and I've got Scott, and I've got what appears to be, I think that's one of the Herb Albert albums here. We've got Dave here. We did have Jimmy. And we, of course, are going to ask you to go into the chat option. Are we going to have the chat option up tonight for this show? Will that be available?
Well, this isn't.
Once it's posted.
Right. This is recorded. This is almost like.
Yeah, this is pre-recorded.
Syndicated.
We're doing like a pre-tape thing, which brings me to a thought that I'm going to bring up in just a second. But excited tonight, we've got Brian S. Red here. A lot of you may not know he's a big YouTube star, so we're excited about that. But we're going to be talking about what's going to be different moving forward with events and weddings. Do you perceive that in February, March, April through December, if you have an event, how will it be different? And what I mean by that is, what is your approach going to be different? Brian and I were talking earlier about this, and I had said, whatever I do early in the year, if I have an event, and I'm hoping I do, will that be the same as what I do late in the year? And I think it will, as far as keeping distance, certain equipment, extra mic screens, which we've all talked about, having multiple microphones now instead of just the trusty one, which I admit I did, 20 years of, hey, everyone, it's me, Jay, on the mic, and now here's the mic to the toaster. So I admit I'm the DJ that did that for 20 years.
We all did it.
I'd never thought about it. It never dawned on me, oh, this could be an issue. And now it's like I have to be prepared with mic stands that I didn't bring before and extra mics and that sort of thing.
It's funny. I did that whole mic thing. I think I started doing it about 15 years ago just because I was getting frequent flu. I was getting whatever was going around, I was getting it. I'm like, you know what? I think this microphone might be disgusting. Let me just designate a mic for the guest. That way they can spit all over it, and then I'll have my designated mic. And it worked out. I mean,
yeah. Well, what's more pathetic is I have a video on my tips and DJ tips in under a minute from 8 years ago, where at a wedding somebody had coughed into the mic, and it's on video. And then you see me holding the mic with hand sanitizer, going, "Wipe down the top of the mic real quick." But it didn't dawn on me to add another mic.
But it's still a good tip.
Right. And I thought
it was. Presenter, it
still works today. But, it's one of those things. The comment I made earlier about virtual, for those of you that don't know, Brian knows, I know, most of the people in the room know, we have an event coming up in 2 weeks that will be virtual this year. This will be the first time in 17 years I will be staying at home and not traveling the long and winding road to Anaheim, California.
And no setup.
48 miles away.
Yeah, no setup.
This is true, Brian, no setup. But sadly, with no setup comes no paycheck. So I wouldn't mind a setup. Yeah. But I'm actually in the midst. I don't want to say too much, but I am in the midst of shooting some videos that are going to be on our page for the NAMM show.
Nice.
And the NAMM event this year will be virtual, and it's now open to everyone, but you do have to register. So if you go to, I believe it's NAMM.com, you can go, or the NAMMshow.com, and you can actually register to go in and see what everyone is going to be posting. There will be new gear that we'll be announcing, different companies. I can't speak on behalf of any of those companies, but there will be new gear, I'm sure, from a ton of different manufacturers, as well as they're going to do their best to give you the experience that Brian and I have seen. I've been seeing you at NAMM since 2008.
Yeah.
No, 9.
Yeah, 2009. 9.
Have you gone every year since?
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, NAMM I'm going to give you the two answers I always give. NAM stands for the National Association of Music Manufacturers, National Association of Music Makers. It's one of those. They're actually
Music
headquartered out
Merchants
here.
is the one I always heard.
Which one is it?
Music Merchants.
That's the third one that I had not come up with. And what NAM actually stands for, because the NAM show in January is where we launch all the new gear from different companies. And what NAM has traditionally stood for is not available, maybe may. Because you're showing new things that could be prototypes, you're showing stuff under glass, and it's kind of always been that. NAM comes at the end of January. It's the largest show in Anaheim at the Anaheim Convention Center. It traditionally brings in about 130,000 people, and it's not a public open show. You have to be an exhibitor, a buyer, a distributor, or invited in by a manufacturer or one of those categories.
Retailer, yeah.
Yeah, and the beauty for me personally at NAM is that anyone that's an endorsee for a music company, whether it be a DJ that's endorsed by, a turntable company or / endorsed by Gibson guitars, they pretty much have to show up at NAM. Because the premise is the buyers from different retailers show up and they look at the new gear. And the way to entice them is to have celebrities in the music industry. My second NAM, I went to Yamaha, who had a booth in one of the hotels in a ballroom. I was invited in. There's about 300 people. The president of Yamaha came up and said, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. We have a little something for you. We've hired a band. We hope they're halfway decent. Van Halen. So it was things like that. Like you'd see Van Halen play in front of 300 people, and it would be unannounced, not publicized, not recorded, not published, that sort of thing. But it's a great way to look into what's new in the music industry for hardware, software, anything to do with music, whether it's a mic stand or whatever.
I was not aware that they were doing this virtual event and then it was open to everybody. So that's really good to know.
Yeah, that's what they're doing this year. That's why when I said something about virtual, it dawned on me. This is going to be a big thing. I believe Pioneer DJ is going to have a link up. We're going to have stuff going on during the show, videos. They've hired this moron with the hair thing to be kind of like, the talker guy.
Now to be clear, you said that this is open to anyone.
Yeah.
So this
anyone can register.
This might be the first opportunity that a lot of people have to experience something that resembles NAMM.
They're going to do their best. And I have not seen the final setup on it, but as I'm to understand, it's going to be set up in days. And it's going to be set up with classes, with demonstrations, with videos. And it's going to be set up by different manufacturers, but in different areas. So, you'll probably go to their site and find, you're a DJ. So you go to the DJ area and it will show all the DJ manufacturers, all the speaker manufacturers, all the lighting manufacturers. The way NAMM is traditionally set up, companies are near each other. Mm-hmm. So you have a block of DJ companies, a block of guitar companies, a block of keyboard companies. And then you have the arena, which is an actual arena off of the Anaheim Convention Center, where they have other manufacturers, maybe, laser companies, smog or fog companies, whatever. And they're pretty much all over the place. But there is some rhyme and reason with it. But it attracts a crazy crowd.
Well, I'll sign up and I'll check it out. That will be pretty interesting.
I will, before the show ends, I will have the actual address. Gelman can probably put it in the show notes somewhere. We could have that. Is Gelman our producer tonight? Oh, that's Regis and Kathy Lee. Okay. I'm dating myself on that one. But I'll have the exact address for everybody. So we'll make sure you're included in that.
Griffin. It's
put it got a fabulous man, handsome man. Ricardo Montalban will be with us this year. Very excited. Never wears a belt. Sans belt pants.
We'll get Charo in here too, just for good measure.
Charo's coming in. I heard from Brian S. Red. Yes, fabulous. Crooner. Mike Douglas will be joining us, another talk show host.
Moms, maybe.
Wait, Doris Day. Cannot believe we got Doris Day to come in.
I love it how Jay's staying on topic. I let him run the show and he's on it.
Cheers, everybody.
Not
When I
drifting
run
or
the show,
nothing.
it's BYOB.
He's dating himself.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's got to date him.
And I'm having fun. I just am not having it on air ever. No Zoom stuff.
You remember Monty Rock the Third on Merv Griffin? Monty Rock the Third. I guess he was a hairdresser or something. He'd come out. He had long hair and a ponytail, and then he'd come out and start rocking and singing, and then let his hair go out all over the place.
You know who I know, but you know how now you just jogged a memory about that. Who was the guy? Super long hair, Brazilian, I think, and wore like a cowboy hat. It'll come to me. And he did hair. He was like a famous hairdresser, but he had like hair down all the way down his back and wore this like snakeskin cowboy hat. It'll come to me. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, man.
I'll figure it out.
So,
Yeah, you're gonna want to. The namshow.org. So
Wow.
the nammshow.org is where you're going to want to go to do your virtual registration.
What other kind of exciting things are we looking at, Jay, for 2021?
Well, to be honest with you, Scott, I think we're looking at getting back to work, which to me is the most exciting.
Yeah.
And
thing.
right now I am scheduled to be in the beautiful, and I sincerely do mean that. It's not only the Garden State, but I mean that sincerely, the beautiful state of New Jersey in August, where I will be hooking up with Mr. Red and Mr. Young and Mr. Darkstar, Brian K, hopefully all of you.
Obviously.
And we'll be, you're not going, Scott?
Yeah. You probably
okay.
will see me.
Hope Joel goes.
Yeah.
And we'll be wandering over to the Irish pub on the boardwalk.
Not the Irish pub, another
City.
place.
We're not going to the Irish pub this year?
No, we're not going there no more.
How
We're
is
going to the place that was playing Cry Little Sister across the way. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. That
They
place
got a
was-
stage and they're going to be nicer to us, so we're going there.
Oh, well, I'm still, hey, it's 24/7.
I don't know what the place is called, but that's the new place.
I'm still going to make an appearance at the pub just in case anyone's looking for me. So that's the first show I have scheduled as far as trade shows. But now that I'm hunkering down and looking at some of my 2020 postponements to 2021 for later in the year, I was looking at things yesterday and I said, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do that's different?
Yes.
I don't traditionally use a facade. I think it's about time I bought one, or an event table. I need to now feel a sense of separation between myself and the audience.
Sure.
I as I've told many people, I have my speakers on either side of my table or my setup. I look at a lot of YouTube videos of setups, and I think facade is going to be the way to go to get that distance. So
let me ask you something, since
Yeah.
we're on the subject.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so my first question is, how tall are you? You're taller than me. We 6'2"?
About 6'1". Yeah.
6'1"?
And I love the pro event table, but I need about, well, this is 9 inches, but I probably only need about 4 inches more.
What kind of
This
table
is
are
9
you
inches.
using
Is this
now?
9 inches?
Yes, it's 9 inches. What kind of table are you using now?
Right now I'm using a traditional banquet style table, which is 3 feet tall.
Right. Now, do you
And
have
I would like it
anything
taller.
that up?
What's that?
Do you have anything elevating that?
I don't. What I do is
Okay.
I put the cover and the case on the table, which automatically lifts it.
Brings it up a bit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, you are going to be so happy with the pro event table at 36 inches.
Yep.
That is such a saver on your back. You're
Right.
gonna be a lot less fatigued. You're gonna be a lot more alert. You're gonna feel a lot better after the event and during the event.
Right.
It really does make a difference.
Well, you know-
I went from the regular banquet table to
Right.
facades and all that stuff to the pro event, which is basically what they would call a deck stand over in Europe. And it was a night and day difference. I couldn't believe how much better I felt. And I've got some cool hacks for you that I can talk to you about for your setup that might help as well. But
Oh,
I
that's
would
awesome.
recommend going that route. I think you'll be very happy with it. Not only setup wise, but height wise. And it gives you a nice barricade.
P.S. Side note, I was just sent, apparently, my voice. I tested my AirPods that my handsome son Connor gave me for Christmas. And I was informed by Jimmy Spin down there that the sound quality of the mic may not have been amazing. This mic apparently is better. but apparently my voice carries because my beautiful wife, who's on the 8th floor of this house, just texted me saying,
Shut up.
Jose Uber or Iber. Jose Iber. E-B-E-R. She heard me rambling about the hair.
The hat guy.
The hat guy.
Yeah.
So Jose Iber, for those that are like me, collecting AARP points when you DJ now.
I think the facade idea is a good idea. The Pro Event table is going to give you essentially the same type of protection. It's 2 feet deep, which helps. And then you stand back, roughly 6 inches. That's like a 3-foot thing. And nobody's right against the thing at any time.
I love, if you can see this behind me, I love the height of this. This is a standard table, just a standard, 4-foot table with 2 speakers and then the XZ on it. So even with the Pro Event table, I'd probably want to put something between the shelf and the gear. I wouldn't mind if the gear was almost level with the top. So, something. Okay, well, maybe down below. We can talk about that and look at that. But I think it's going down the right road of keeping, I think the first thing we have to prioritize is our safety and our health.
Absolutely.
And I think distance is probably the first thing because people are going to go ballistic. If you're a DJ in 2021, when this thing kicks back in, they're going to go nuts.
Yeah.
So if we can get a little distance, I think that's point one. Point two, and this is where I'm going to need help from the audience. What are we going to be seeing, like a flood of 2020 tracks we didn't like come in? Is it going to be the newer stuff? Is it going to go back to the Howie Darkstar? This is my happy playlist. Like, Brian, what do you think?
I don't know. In fact, it's odd. They just postponed the Grammys until March. So
wow,
there's a lot of stuff.
The music sucks from 2020.
Well, I was kind of thinking the same thing. It's like, is it really necessary to hold a Grammys?
Hey, and the winner is The Weeknd.
Right. Well,
great jazz album.
Something we'll give her a
The
Grammy.
Weeknd.
I don't know what happened this year. I wasn't paying any attention, but they did postpone the Grammys until I think mid-March.
Well, yeah, and I don't want to be that guy that rags on all the music that came out, but
you're going to anyway.
I'm going to be that guy that rags on all the music. Some of it wasn't good. We had a show on that a couple weeks ago or a week ago, and let's be honest, we struggled to come up with tracks. There were some good releases, and if an artist wrote something they firmly believed in and they put it out, credit to them. I hope I get to hear it. But the music that got publicity in 2020, I don't, I'm not playing WAP.
Well, it's really hard to say where they're going to go. We did talk about some of the things that are trending that we may want to keep our eyes open or just at least have it in our arsenal. There's always the fun standbys. And, you made an interesting point a while back. I think it was you. I'm going to give you credit for it regardless.
Wow. Which
was maybe there are artists who are holding tracks back until things pop.
Yeah, we did talk about that. And I believe that.
And if you're right, then we don't know what we're going to be playing. Well, we know we're going to be playing the standard stuff, but in addition to that, there may be things we've never heard yet.
I think we're going to get flooded. I think you're going to suddenly see promo-only pools show up on a monthly basis with like 8,000 songs, because I firmly believe artists that have held back, and I think they didn't want to have the 2020 sticker on their product.
Well, you talk a lot about making memories, and if anybody wants to make a memory, maybe 2020 wasn't the year to make it.
No.
Maybe the memory to be made is when things become a little more safe again and we can get back out there. Maybe that's the time to put your stamp on a new track where people don't have the memory of it from 2020.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I'm spitballing here.
Yeah, no,
this could be a great opportunity for Pitbull to drop some stuff.
It's about his time.
Or Beyonce to drop some stuff. I could even see people like LMFAO and Bruno Mars coming out.
I swear, this is so telepathic. I swear, strike me dead. I was just thinking this would be a good year for an LMFAO reunion.
Yeah.
Like it really would. Like if I'm their management, I'm on the horn right now going, dude, I don't care what your problem is with the other guy. Figure out a way to get to the damn
Your
studio.
family work it out.
What's the name of the song? The song is called 2021 You Rock. Anything. I don't care. Just get your butts in the studio.
Right.
Seriously. But I
you
also
get-
think, the old song, like the We Like to Party, Venga Boys, and
Sure.
stuff like, wow, well, speak of the devil, there he is. Things like that are going to come back into vogue.
Yeah.
Even more. Now, here's the twist on that question, though, to everyone in the room. Are we going to have to do any sort of a memorial sense at events? Are we going to have to do a wedding, and are we going to be asked to recognize that there are 4 or 5 people that due to COVID aren't at the wedding?
I
Because
don't know
I
if
firmly believe at some point I will be asked.
I do believe that might be true, and that happens just during what I would call civilian times. Anyway, hey, let's
Right.
talk about our dead aunt. It's like, hey, how about we don't? Because you want to have a party here.
And I agree, but I think there's this sense of we went through. It's sort of, I didn't go through a war.
Well,
So
let
I
me-
don't know if after like the war's end, the next year or two, people have a sense of camaraderie because they made it out alive, and they need to celebrate, but they also need to remember.
I'm
And
thinking,
I think there
yeah.
will be a sense. I talked. To
I
a
think
client-
that's the kind of stuff you can work out in client meetings.
Oh,
I think
no,
if somebody
totally
comes
agree.
up to you during an event and blindsides you with it,
No, I think that's I agree with you. This is a party. Let's not bring it down. But my point is, do we say to clients, do we give them the heads up? Hey, I'm really excited. You're getting married. You postpone your wedding. In postponing it, how'd your year turn out? Well, we lost my mom. We lost my uncle. We lost my cousin. We lost my brother. Is it the elephant in the room that the DJ does or doesn't have to approach by saying, do you want to make reference to any of this at the wedding? Do we need to have that Sarah
I wouldn't
McLachlan
ask
moment?
that question. No, I would never.
No.
ask
Okay.
that
Well,
question.
again, I'm just
Personally, I
throwing
would
it out
not. If they bring it
Okay.
up, I have to deal with it. But I would
Okay.
not bait them with it.
Okay.
Hey, let's,
That's fair.
Let's do a memorial service for dead people. No, this is a party. Let's celebrate.
I have a no request list where I used to say, what do you not want to hear? It will not get played. We don't want to hear the chicken dance. Okay. And when they say, what do you mean by a no list? I would say, songs you really don't want to hear. That was 20 years ago. Now I've said to couples pretty frequently, if there are songs that remind you of someone that's passed away and make you sad, or an
Let's not play them.
or an ex relationship, and all of a sudden, when you start to say that, you start getting this, his first wedding, their first dance was this. I don't want to hear it at my wedding. That's a great song to not play then. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
the way
again,
to go.
I think there are times that we as DJs do more than just play music. And in
Yeah, of
order to
course.
create a great time, you have to admit that we've gone through something to get there.
Well, before we go any further, I just want to welcome Mr. Howie Darkstar into the room.
Howie Darkstar in the room. I mentioned Irish Pub
Hello.
and I was shot down, sir. Just to let
Are
you know.
you guys recording?
Yes,
We
sir.
are recording,
We are
sir,
live.
yes.
We're
I'm
not live,
always
but
the last to know. I
Well,
I messaged John. He must have an outage there or something.
he's
in the woods.
He's deep into his weekend handyman stuff. But tonight we're talking about things that we're going to be doing maybe a little different this year when things kick back in, or maybe even in preparation for things to kick back in. That's the topic tonight.
Preparing, maybe if you didn't have a facade, getting one so you have that social distance, and what we can expect with these new parties, because the reality is, and I did do a few events in 2020, and the events I did were kind of crazy because people acted as though they'd been locked in a cave for 10 years because they had to stay around their house or go out with a mask for 3 months.
Well-
They suddenly acted like, oh, I'm free again. I'm going nuts. I mean, this is how bad it is. If you haven't noticed yet, like, this is how pathetic the world is I live in.
We can talk about whatever you want, Jay. You're actually Jay's running the show.
I'm the
tonight,
show
by the way.
host, Howie. So if you have any questions,
I'm just here.
address me, please. Don't address
Oh,
him.
I
Yeah,
thought
this-
maybe you had a question for me.
Well,
Well,
we're kind of throwing it out
I
there,
wanted
Jay.
to acclimate you to the subject before I
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
I'm about this close to going outside on the front porch and yelling, Attica, Attica. So I'm just telling you, Howie.
I'll
a
tell you
host
what
on
I've
the
been
air.
up to, and I've kind of been thinking about this as we have been fortunate enough to see 2021, come to pass, or not come to pass, but be here in the present. We're here. We made it to 2021. That's a good thing.
Yes. Happy
So
New
what
Year.
I'm thinking,
We didn't
Happy
say.
New Year. So what I'm COVID. What I was thinking about,
You made it right up to the finish line and dropped.
and I died. Yeah, it's
You're
gone.
like that YouTube video where the girl falls right in front of the finish line.
It happened.
I'll pick you up. I'll pick you up. Don't worry.
Isn't it funny how when you're watching a movie, people are just doing normal things and somebody coughs and then everybody goes, "Oh my God, are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine." And then they're like dead a half hour later. Like in real life, people just cough all the time. And it's like, "Oh, you okay?"
But it's different now. If you're in a store and someone coughs a year ago, you're like, didn't notice. Now
Yeah.
somebody coughs and everyone loses their S. It's like, oh, what was that?
So as I was saying
serious.
earlier, I've been trying to think of ways that I can be of service to whoever happens to watch my stuff. So I was making some music lists. Not that people don't have their own crates and things, but I was just throwing some ideas out there of 10 songs in like certain categories. I did a country one and I did like a 70s boomer rock one. And I'll do more later, but I'm just thinking about people preparing for getting back out there and being ready, because I don't know about you, but I mean, well, you've gigged since, but I haven't had an event since August.
Yeah.
This is the longest I've ever gone without having an event.
And it's a
I
weird
was-
feeling.
Yeah,
And everyone
I was
in the room
hospital,
should say this.
paralyzed,
And you
I
still gig more free. Yeah.
there was a shorter time span between when that happened and I gigged than there has been right now. So it's weird. I just think maybe the thing to do is,
I mean, the longest you went without a gig was when you weren't a DJ.
Right.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, I think, it was probably from the time I was like born to 13 was the longest I went without a gig. And this is the second longest period from August to now. So I'm thinking about, just trying to give people some things to think about, putting some crates together of music to be ready when you go out there, because you never know what people are going to hit you with. The video I'm doing now, I was in the process of, before we went on to this broadcast, and I'll finish later, I'm thinking about the speaker systems that I have and what their applications are, because they all have different applications. So if you are going to go out and start doing smaller events, here are some speakers that work well for that. If you're going to be doing smaller events and you're looking at an Electro Voice ETX system, maybe that's not the thing to do right now. So this is what the speaker systems are. These are the size and types of events that I use these speaker systems for. Information like this is stuff that I just kind of want to throw out to the universe for, and it may or may not help some people, but hopefully it helps somebody. Just some things to think about and to get ready for, because my calendar, I got a lot of stuff on it.
Yeah.
And it starts in May, because that's how Wisconsin works. But there's a lot going on. I'm going to be pretty busy. I need to be ready, and I got to keep the gears turning because I've been kind of dormant for a while, So just thinking about, just general prep, I guess, is the kind of stuff that I've been thinking about and wanting to be ready when the time does come. When the green light goes, I want to be able to punch the gas and go.
Yeah. And I firmly believe it's going to be that. And by the way, Howie, before you say anything real quick, I mentioned you and gave you credit earlier about your happy playlist and the upbeat playlist, and said, I think that that's going to be even more important in 2021. So.
Yes. I'm just listening from what I heard when I first came in. You're ready to get out there and yell Attica. There's a lot of people like that. And then you had also mentioned, what's up with Brian and Howie? They're always so calm and they're taking this really well. And it goes back to what Brian is doing. He's being helpful and giving. And that's what I do myself. But I recently saw and read a very interesting article about mental health during this this pandemic. And they said that the happiest people that are maybe not happy, but handling it the best are people that are of service to other people, that are helpful. And I guess if you're looking for a secret to why Brian and I are handling it so well, it's because we're doing things like that. I mean, those things, I'm enjoying what he's doing. And I know for a fact some people did word for word and made their own crates right off of Brian's. They told me that that's what they did. And I think that's great. Now they have a crate and they feel good about it, that they received a gift, and that's, and I got to tell you, I am welcoming 2021. And I noticed that the general public, at least from my point of view, is seeing light. And the light is getting bigger and brighter at the end of the tunnel, because I've had, right after New Year's, the inquiries started coming in. And I booked 2 gigs and one was not a fit. They just couldn't afford it. And I've got a few more that are pending.
Awesome.
So, and that was all within, it's not, what is it, the 6th today or something? Only 6 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 days.
Oh, 5 days. Oh, wow, that's even better.
Well, I mean,
So,
you really want to be technical, 4 days, because the first really doesn't.
well, that's true. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really, I'm not worried about it. I know that things will happen, but I didn't think that they would inquire that soon. I thought they would wait, but I'm fine with it.
Well, I think you're going to see, normally in my market, and I think a lot of markets, there's a big bridal show in most big cities in January to start the year off.
Oh, we have several here. Yeah. Big
Right. So you kind of sit there and say, well, I'm not doing a booth this year. I'm not going, but you look at the date. And if you're like me, you maybe go to your website or your Facebook business page or whatever, and you put up a little like, contact me after the Milwaukee bridal show for show specials. And now people see that and go, oh, there's a special. And it's, it's the age old, let's all jump on, oh, it's President's Day. Ford offering the greatest deals on the Ford Ranger for president. Like, so what? It's President's Day. I got to buy a truck. But we've always established that, oh, it's coming up on Valentine's Day. Got to be prepared. Normally, December is that time people get engaged. And I don't think that changed. So I think we're going to start. If you're not getting inquiries yet, get ready to get that phone ringing and those emails popping, because I think it's coming.
It's going to get messy here because, as I mentioned before, I've got several prime dates already nailed down. I've gotten inquiries within, I would say, the last. Well, you know what? I did get a text the other day. Somebody asking me about a date that I don't have available. It's a hot date. It's booked. So
now, have you talked to other DJs in the area as far as, I'm booked, let me share the love? Hey, call, Wavy.
That's how we do it.
Yeah, good.
That's just how we do it.
I think that's going to be very important moving forward, because we both know DJs in our markets, in your market, my market, who, if trust me, I get a call and it says Redlands, it says Moval, it says something like that. I'm making a call up to our boy up there and saying, figure out a way to get on crutches and get your butt over there.
Right. Send Susan.
Yeah.
I don't quite care how you show up.
She does. Susan is fantastic. She,
good. She can do the wedding.
Chris.
But I think this is going to happen because, like you say, Brian, there's only 52 Saturdays in the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're going to go quick. The one thing I will say, looking at my calendar for 2021, I have, and this has never been said before, I have more Friday and Sunday bookings than I've ever had. I traditionally kill the Saturdays and then I fill in some Friday, Sundays. Friday, Sundays, everyone is jumping on it because I think they've all realized Saturdays are probably booked. And the other thing I'll say, and I don't want to offend anyone about this, but I mean this sincerely. And as Howie said, I've lost a couple of inquiries due to this. And one of them was kind enough to explain to me that they'd spoken to other DJs in my area who I may know, and that they were offering killer, is the word the groom used, killer deals for 2021. And I don't want to get into money, but I will say this. I've raised my prices for 2021. Now you say, but that's insane because you didn't work last year. Then why would I lower them?
Right.
Well, why would I try to play catch up and make up for an entire year? Because that would mean I'd have to triple book everything.
Well,
so I understand that anyone investing in my services for a wedding or a party in 2021 realizes, after seeing how fragile life really is in 2020, they're investing all of their time, effort, and money in 2021. I spoke to, real quick, Brian, I spoke to a bride last night and the groom for 20 minutes on the phone. I said, I'll hold your date for 5 days. If anyone inquires during those 5 days, you'll get a first right of refusal for 24 hours. Please check me out on YouTube. I'm a friend of Brian S. Red. I think that's probably what got me hired.
That could be.
Go to Wedding Wire, The Knot, whatever. And she said, can I have your Venmo address? And I said, absolutely. Within an hour, I had a deposit in my Venmo account for 1/3 of the quoted price I gave them, because I take a 1/3 retainer upon contract. We still haven't talked about me being hired. This is the third client in a month that has sent me money without saying we'd like to hire you. And the only thing I can come up with is people are panic shopping a little bit.
Mhm.
They're looking at the future of their event and saying, if somebody, just get them. Knowing that, and if this sounds mean, I'll be happy to talk to you off air and explain it. Why in God's name would you ever lower your price when people want you?
Well,
Exactly.
I will
Yeah.
just say this. There are those who will do it and they will book their calendars quick.
Mhm.
And that's fine, especially considering how we're trying to squeeze 2 years of stuff into a 1-year bag. So
Right.
you can go ahead and do that all you want. There's still going to be a demand.
You can, but
Mhm.
I'm just asking you to consider, because if you keep lowering prices, what you do is you give the
I couldn't agree more.
impression
I
that the
couldn't-
mobile DJ and the
Yeah.
wedding DJ is of not the value that we know we are. We could
I'm
all
not
get 500 an hour.
I'm
Well-
not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is that for those who are doing that in your market, let them.
Please don't.
Well, no, let them do it, because it doesn't matter.
Right.
There's still going to be plenty of work out there for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so many events happening this year. They're robbing
But
themselves by
make
doing
us
it.
look
I agree
good.
with you.
Make us look good and valuable. Stop taking $500 for a wedding.
Mm.
Everybody go to 2,000, and then some of us will go to 2,500, and then you can come up. And then I'll go to 3, and you come to 3, and I'll go to 35. Why can't we make a living, Brian? Why can't
Howie,
I
do you
drive a
worry
nice
about what
car?
anybody else charges in your market?
I don't care.
I don't
It's none of my business.
I don't care.
And I might add, Jay.
But you know what
Brian,
they charge.
Brian and I did something. I think, what was it, 3 years ago?
Oh, that night you guys drank too much and you were on the beach with the. Oh, this is something else. I'm
Yeah,
so
but
sorry.
that we agreed not to
I'm
ever
so-
speak of that
No,
again.
I apologize. I
No.
Fuck,
forgot.
Jay, you're
just
supposed to be a
saying.
brother.
Come on, man. No,
Bros before bros.
it was
Sorry.
about 3 years ago. We said, hey, I'm going to raise my price. I said, yeah, you know what? Let's see what happens. Let's raise our prices this year. See what happens. You know what happened? We worked less. You know what else happened? We made more
more.
money.
Yeah.
And
This
then
topic has
then
been
the year after that, we worked as much as we did the year before, and we made a lot more money because we already established that this is our price.
right. And
Happy New Year.
we could have a weekly talk show on YouTube for 1 hour about pricing of a DJ, and we could probably never repeat the same thing twice. And the problem I have, not only with Brian's disco balls on his head, but the bigger problem is, if you want to get a top end lawyer, you don't expect to pay $10 an hour. And if you want to get the best thoracic surgeon on the planet, I bet he doesn't charge $20 an hour. But when it comes to our talent and skill as an individual DJ, in an open marketplace, everyone looks at you and says, yeah, I think DJs get like, $50 an hour. It's like, and now Dave is busting out his EDM rave gloves. I mean, Howie's got the stars in the back. We've got Ginger Lynn, 80s porn star down here who's not here. Hi, Ginger. Just want to give a shout out to Ginger.
We just thought we'd do something while Jay played his greatest hits over there.
No distraction whatsoever from me.
Sad
part. Well, you know what? Yeah, I think they should, because I think we should be viewed as the professionals that we are. Hey, by the way, the next time you go to see Garth Brooks in concert, tell me it costs $20 to see him. Wait, what? 150? Why? Well, because that's what Garth gets, because Garth is a top-end entertainer. Oh.
And do those people call up Garth and say, hey, listen, I think your prices are too high. I can get Jay Brannan to pluck a guitar,
play your music,
for $500.
Well, if it's in comparison to Garth, I charge $50,000 because I think he's 150. So I seem like a deal and a half. And if you can't afford me, I got 2 alligators and a guy in the bayou with a banjo named Scott Carroll, and that's $20,000. I mean,
Jaguars rule.
Yeah, San Dimas Jaguars.
Let me throw this out there just for fun, so we don't have to talk about this anymore because it's boring. What
money is boring, everybody.
Talking about money is boring. I like to talk about art. Art is what turns me on. So, what type of different, or how should I word this? Do you foresee doing some different types of events this year? Is there going to be some stuff that we're going to do that's unusual or we're not used to doing as much of?
That's interesting because I got a referral for a bookstore.
Really?
Wow.
They asked, and the requirement was 2 hours, background music, and they needed 2 microphones. So a bookstore event where they're introducing an author or
oh, cool.
So that made me start to think. So I had to, it was on my list of wish items was for a wireless mic. It started making me start thinking about, okay, how would I put 2 mics or 3 mics, because I only have 1 mic input on my mixer. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at external mixers.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, wireless microphones and everything that's involved in dealing with all of that to get prepared for that type of little gig.
Well, wouldn't that be cool if all of a sudden you do this gig and they're like, hey, we really like that. We're going to call you back for the next book signing that we have.
It could be
become the bookstore
almost every weekend type of deal.
Yeah, that would be really
short
cool.
Event. It doesn't pay that great.
Well, sure, but what is it, like
over
noon to 1
weeks?
Or something, or noon to 2 or 11 to 1?
It was 2 hours. They said 2 hours. They were going to pay me $200. You got to bring the gear. And sure. I bought speakers last year, and my column array speakers would be absolutely perfect for that type of little event.
So and if you did it once a week, that's $10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. In addition to what you're already doing.
Right. And please, everybody, look at things like Joel's got as repeat. Yeah. If it's once a month, great. He's got $2,200, $2,400 he can throw towards something. But if he gets it every week, now he's got $10,000 in his hand. $10,000.
I used to do like Monday night car shows for $200. Monday night. I'm not doing anything. I like cars anyway. I show up, I play for like 2.5 hours. Cool. And I did this for years until the restaurant closed.
I got an inquiry for something I've never done, and Jay never did it, but they said, well, we would like to still do the event, but can you do a live remote for the people that can't attend? And I said, yes. I don't know how to do it. I've never done it, but I could do what Jay did and come in here and say, hey, guys, how do I hook this up? And a couple of people will walk me through the OBS, and I'll knock it out of the park just like Jay did.
Sure.
But this goes back to what Brian had said before. Before you invest in something, sell it first. Okay, so I sold it. Now it's like, all right, I'll buy the camera.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll learn how to do it between now and then.
Well, I've answered 50 questions about streaming with Pioneer gear. and it's the pat answers, try this program, do this, do that. Then push came to shove, and I'm like, I'm going to go play in the driveway. Well, I'm not going to call Pulse, who's the other guy in the forums, and be like, hey, bro, walk me through this because I feel like an idiot. So I took what I call the dumb way out, which is, okay, YouTube, DJ stream, okay, OBS, let me download that.
Yeah.
Okay, settings, okay. And recently I've had some problems with it because it didn't have a mic feature for one of my pieces. Now it does. The mic was loud enough, this and that. But the driveway stuff maybe took 10 minutes to set up. And I had DJs call me, physically call me, that are much better than me, much bigger than me, that are like, hey, dude, you know, I do the club thing and get like $3,000 a night. I've never streamed. What are you doing? And I'm like, well, I use my phone. Where do you put it? I'm like, well, I put it between the EQs on the microphone, and then I get this laptop and I plug this cable. I mean, I spent no money based solely on the fact that I wasn't getting paid for the gig in the driveway. So I think we can all do stuff. We've had this talk. They're not here tonight, but I'll give them both a shout out. You know, we've got, you know, John from Boston and Scrappa from Australia. Here are two guys that came into the chat room, more Scrappa than John. John's a great DJ. Not that Scrappa isn't, but John's got a pedigree. He's been around.
Yeah, Scrappa's
He
him.
suddenly earned a huge rep on Twitch. Well, here's Scrappa that did like 2 or 3 gigs as of last March when we started the chill room. Now he's making money from Twitch. So it's out there if you're willing to go after it. I think when it comes to the actual events, and Brian, you're better with lights than I am. One of the things I thought of was I've bought some Chinese knockoff. I think they're called blinders. They're panels with like white kind of lights.
Sure.
And I've bought 10 of them, and I'm lining them up 5 aside.
Wow.
So as people get closer during dancing,
You can blind them.
I turn them on, and between the sheer blinding of them and the heat, I feel they'll back up. Do you think this is something
Yeah.
to keep a social distance that I should?
I think you
Or-
ought to invest in cattle prods. I think
You
that
know,
would be
it's
good for
funny you bring that up because I duct taped those to the bottom of the speakers.
Nice.
So they kind of came out like at eye height. You know, the kids complained because I hadn't mentioned it. And I admit it was dark in the garage when I tested them. The arc looks cool. Like when the skin hits it and you get that arc.
Have you thought about taking like a pitcher of water, pouring it in front of your booth to create a puddle, and then throwing
No, I have not.
some car battery leads on it, so if anyone comes near your booth, it zaps them.
A moat.
Make a
A
circuit.
moat. Yes, a moat.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe
Exactly.
change the name from Brannan Entertainment to Make a Circuit Entertainment. Like you'll get a
it's
buzz
we
out
went
of
from
us.
facade to moat.
We'll zap you.
And you can talk to Scott about gators because I believe
probably
they have
has
them
some.
by
Yeah.
Scott.
Yeah, we can get some gators up there and
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured that.
or out there
Yeah.
rather and get you set.
To Howie's point,
Why do I see a guy in his bedroom behind him going, "You can do it"?
to Howie's point, absolutely. I think that this is something that many of us fall in victim of. We'll see something out there and we'll say, yeah, that's a pretty interesting idea. Maybe if I buy that, I can sell this service. And then you end up buying the chocolate fountain or the whatever, and you feel pressured to sell it. And then you do the math in your head and you figure out, okay, I need $100 for this every time it goes out. But the only thing you're able to sell for is $50. Or you say, hey, look, I tell you what, I'll give you a deal on it. I'll give it to you for $40. Okay, I'll take it.
Right.
That's a pitfall we all fall into. It's easier to say, well, yeah, I could do this if you'd like. It's going to cost this though. Well, no, I don't want to pay that. Oh, you can't have it then. It's just
Well, it's
a much
the old
wiser way to go about a business.
right. I guarantee you and I have had this phone call 12 years ago, 11 years ago. Hey, what do you think about this idea? And you start calling your presently contracted clients and say, hey, just to let you know, I've now decided to offer this big uplighting package. it's going to go for $400, but since you're already a contracted client, I'm offering it to you for $200. Once you get 10 of those clients, there's your seed money to go buy the damn lights so that you can it's like, you don't know what they want till they tell you. I never got the dancing on the cloud thing because I'm like, a lot of stuff's outside and it's hot. The dancing on the cloud thing just won't work. Mikey did it. I got Mikey Mike to do a wedding that I did, 6 or 7 years ago. And it was a deal. Mikey gave the client a deal.
Yeah,
he did the dancing on a cloud for their first dance. And at the time, his deal was a pair of headphones and $275. He showed up. He put the dry ice on the floor for 2 minutes and like 48 seconds. And then he left. And I just thought, and I said, what do you normally charge? He's like, around 400. Like, seriously, he goes, all my Disney brides, they want it. They love it. And, I'm far be it from me to say what's of value at that point, but he figured out, here you go. What do you think?
Yeah, but Mikey did things different in that regard, and still does things different in that regard. He gets things because he thinks they're cool. And
no, he does. But I'm saying
between you and me and the rest of the world who's watching this, Mikey can afford to do things that he thinks are cool. A lot of us don't have that with him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Mikey's on the side list of like, so this COVID thing wiped you out. No, it didn't.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't miss a day
he also admitted that he didn't sell a lot of those, and that I know that it's not a big a seller as everybody thinks it is. At least here in Jersey, I know people that went out. They saw the videos. Before they could sell the service, they bought the equipment.
Right.
And they were like, man, I bought that thing and I only used it 10 times this year.
Happens.
And so now what they're doing is almost giving it away. I won't buy one. I had clients ask for it and I said, yeah, I can get it from a subcontractor and I have to hire somebody and they'll, like Mikey came in for you. I have somebody come in and do it for me.
Yeah.
I'm doing that video on the speaker setups right now. And so I go through Evolve 30M, Evolve 50, the EKX series, and the ETX series. If you know anything about the Electric Voice ETX series,
they're the loud ones.
This is no joke.
Yeah.
This is like
they're serious speakers.
I've done 1,200 students with this in the giant field house, and I wasn't clipping even close to it. And I said in the video, and I'm editing it. I'll get back to editing it later, but I said I don't own this system. In fact, the guy who I used to rent it from sold it because the only time he used it was when I rented it. He bought it because he was so impressed with the specs.
Yeah.
That he had to have it, but once he had it, he had no use for it because it's too aggressive for anything else he does. 300 people events? No, it's still too big. So, that's kind of where I'm at, on this system. I won't buy this system. I might need it once or twice a year, but I'll find somewhere to rent this thing. Or I'll just have a nice conversation with Mike D at Electric Voice, which, but
that wouldn't
before we wrap this, and I know I'm not the host, so forgive me.
It's like, wow, how did we get to wrapping it? This is a 5-hour show.
And wait a minute. How did he get to be the host of your show?
Who, Jay?
Yeah. Finally, I get top
I'm
billing.
just stepping in.
Because
you'll have to watch the first 5 minutes of the video.
Howie, because I've been on the network for like 7 years and they still don't have a photo of me. But damned if Shaney's not up there with Rachel and everyone else, even though they're not on a regular basis. I'm just saying.
I'm not up there. I'm just saying. And
Well,
I have a new Monday night show.
Yeah.
Well, you do. Oh, see, then you and I are.
John broke it last night. It surprised me. He said, "Yeah, we got a new show Monday nights at 10 o'clock. It's going to be hanging out with Howie."
Hanging with
And I was like, oh, so like you're treating me like Brian, like we're always the last.
Welcome to the club,
Hanging out with Howie. Well,
You're
I'm going to
sitting there, everything's fine. All of a sudden, somebody throws a snowball at you, and you're like, "Oh, okay. I guess we're having a snowball fight."
Hey, do me a favor. Call Young tomorrow. Renegotiate my contract. Ask if we can do a drinking with Jay show. Yeah, no.
We already
just
do a
trust me.
drinking with
Trust
Jay
me.
show. So my
But
question
another
was
one.
gonna
I'm
be
just looking for another excuse.
to the room. I'll start with Jay because I already know what his answer is going to be. What do you need equipment wise this year to do what you want to do?
My purchases for 2021 guaranteed. I need to get 2 clip-on microphones, and I need to get 2 wireless handheld.
So the facade thing is just not something you need to do.
That's, you know what? Right now, 90% of my events are booked at a venue where they have a custom DJ stand. It's a table sitting on 2 wine barrels. If I book more than a few outside of that venue, then yes, a facade will be something I want.
Yeah.
But having a facade now, I wouldn't use it until probably July.
Okay.
And that's the catch-22. The mics that I need a wireless in February, and then I'll need the 2 clip-ons in April. So I have time to go through. I know you and I talked about going to
I hooked you up with my
JTS.
guy, right?
You did. And
Okay.
I called, he wasn't there. I had to talk to somebody else. But the events I needed those mics had gotten canceled. So it gave me time. And I'm not going to lie. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens at NAMM. And maybe he launches something new. Maybe they've got some dual pack that's got 4 mics. I don't know.
No, who knows?
By the way, the NAMM thing is going to start on January 11th. You're going to actually be able to get in and start to see things.
John will have that in the description of this video when he uploads it.
Excellent.
And he has to now because I said it.
Yeah.
Howie, is there anything that you need to get ready for your events this year?
Actually, no. I am going to go with the tried and true, elegant setup that takes a half an hour.
Yeah.
And because you said, hey, there's only 52 Saturdays, and not this year. We'll be lucky if we get 20 Saturdays this year.
Yeah, that's a valid point. That's a total.
So for me, that's like,
normalcy.
Do I want stuff? Yes. Am I going to buy it? No.
Do you need anything though?
What? I don't even need the camera. I have the camera. I just need to learn how to be able to use that camera to do the remote. So yeah, I have to learn something.
Joel,
but I do that every day, so that's cool.
Joel, you mentioned some microphones.
Right.
That's what you need?
I bought a table and speakers last year, so I feel like I'm set for most every gig, but it's the gigs like weddings and little, public speaking type things where a specialized microphone. So that's on my shopping list.
Scott Carroll, you got anything?
Yeah, really. This year, probably not, because I've paid off. I'm fixing to pay off what I did buy in 2020 when I bought the new photo booth enclosure that I got from Odyssey. And then, we did some upgrades, but really, my setup looks great. I mean, I know you guys have seen it, with the event table and with the covering we have on front and the uplighting. The last thing I got was the ADJ Pocket Pros, along with the DMX Airstream Bridge. And man, I'm set. I really am. Marketing, I want to focus more on doing some marketing this year. We do have a Sunday. I have a small bridal show we're doing. It's going to be mostly outdoors. We're spreading things out, but that's about it for me. I mean, I'm pretty well set and just kind of let the chips fall where they may. I'm ready.
How about you, Mr. Clevenger? Anything at all that you need to pick up before you do your thing this year?
There's nothing I need to pick up. It's mostly just I wants.
There's always that.
There's always that.
Every day has I want.
I want a second Roland DJ 707M.
Oh, I need one of those. The only thing I really need for this year, by the way, is 4 new Michelin tires and a transmission for the Suburban so I can get back and forth to DMS. Otherwise, I'm good. I got what I need.
Nothing. You're fine.
I yield to the man from Temecula.
Like I said, just the mics and facade and all that. And I want to thank everybody. We're going to wind things up now. Check out the chill room. It's djntv.com/chill. We'll have notes in the show notes or a link in the show
description of
notes.
the video.
Description in the video. Smash that subscribe button. Hit that like.
Smash it.
Smash it.
Smash it.
I don't know if there's any merch out there.
I'm
but
a mobile
if there is,
DJ.
check out the merch. I don't know.
Yeah, check out the merch.
The
I'm offering 20% off of all of my stuff that was stolen from somebody else. And you can tell I'm a cool mobile DJ because watch, I can do that hand to the camera thing. What the hell? But yeah, seriously, nam.org is how you get to the NAM website. And there should be information on there how to register. If for some reason something comes up and there isn't, I will make sure that I get other links because I know with Pioneer DJ, we have links that we're going to start posting to register, and it's going to be a great time. It's actually this year they're changing the name of it. The name of the show is called NAM Believe in Music Week, January 2021. So, you know, the only thing I plan on doing this month outside of the work I'm doing is driving up there. And it'll be tragically sad because the Anaheim Convention Center is a COVID test site.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Because my vision, and you know me, Mr. Dramatic, Mr. On Top of the Hill with a falcon and the wind, and, you know, it's like any Man of War video. My vision, I said to Pulse, was I'm going up there and having breakfast one day during NAMM, like at that little cafe, you know, Park 55 that we go to every day. We still call it Molly's, which is 2 names ago, but we check in on Foursquare. This is how geeky a 50-plus-year-old and a 40-plus-year-old are. We check in, and which one is best is mayor. Like, and our wives, this is why our wives don't worry when we travel. I wonder,
Brian, is this the longest sign off ever?
Right. So let me come back around to that. No, but you know, I'm genuinely not happy about the lack.
I thought we'd just do a science experiment and see what happens if Jay,
Yeah.
you know, so we let the inmates run the asylum. What happens?
Yeah. So, and you want to check me out on my Alone TV next week, where I'll be just me talking to myself. And I figure I'll probably do about 3 hours of that, so I should be good. But I really want to thank everyone for watching. Please put your comments down below. We're definitely going to check back with them. Brian will personally make sure he answers every single one of them. If he doesn't, please go to his videos. You know, but I know he will. You don't have to worry about it. If you need to find his address on YouTube, look for Elliskins. That's his side name that he uses, and just thumbs down anything that you didn't like. He dresses up in them too. Wears a hat. Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure, guys. I look forward to seeing most or all of you in the chill room. Thanks to the sausage evening that it's been. And
sorry, John. Sorry.
We will see you, John, next time. I know John's like, we're not using any of it.
I'm very sorry.
Nothing. Please stay warm, John. We understand you've been fishing in ice. They sell that stuff in the store. That's all I'm going to say. So thanks to everyone. Stay safe. Happy New Year. Stay well. We'll see you next Tuesday. Details to come on Facebook. Good night.
Good night.